a former US senator, a secret relationship with her bodyguard, and now a lawsuit that's turning into a very public legal battle. Former Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema is making headlines after admitting in court documents that she had an affair with her bodyguard while he was still married. But despite that admission, Sinema says the lawsuit against her shouldn't even be allowed to move forward. Here's what's actually going on. The situation centers around Kyrsten Sinema, who previously represented Arizona in the US Senate. According to recently filed legal documents, Sinema acknowledged that she had a romantic relationship with a man named Matthew Ammel, who had been working as her security guard. The controversy began when Heather Ammel, Matthew's estranged wife, filed a lawsuit against Sinema in North Carolina in September 2025. Heather claims Sinema interfered in her marriage by pursuing a relationship with her husband while they were still legally married. In a motion filed to dismiss the lawsuit, Sinema acknowledged that she and Matthew Ammel became romantic and in late May of 2024. According to the filing, the relationship became physical for the first time on May 27, 2024, in Sonoma, California. The documents also state that the two later spent time together in several other locations, including New York City, Washington, D.C., Aspen, Colorado, Phoenix, Arizona. The legal filing even lists these locations because Sinema's argument in court is heavily based on where the relationship actually happened. Sinema's legal team says the case filed in North Carolina should be dismissed because none of the alleged physical encounters happened there. Her argument is that the state of North Carolina does not have jurisdiction over her, since she claims she was never physically present in the state when the alleged actions took place. In other words, she says the relationship happened in several cities across the country, but never in North Carolina. However, Heather Ammel argues that the situation still involves North Carolina because her husband was sometimes in the state while communicating with Sinema. The lawsuit claims that Sinema sent romantic messages to Matthew while he was in North Carolina, including allegedly sending a photo of herself wrapped only in a towel. But Sinema disputes that claim. According to her court filing, she says she never sent that photo, and even if such a message existed, she says she had no idea Matthew was physically located in North Carolina at the time. Because of that, her legal team argues that the state still shouldn't have the authority to hear the case. At this point, Sinema has formally asked the court to dismiss the lawsuit entirely. The judge will now have to decide whether North Carolina courts actually have jurisdiction to handle the case, or whether the lawsuit will need to be dropped or potentially filed in another state. What makes this story unusual is that Sinema isn't denying the relationship itself. Instead, the legal fight is focused almost entirely on where the alleged actions happened and whether that location gives North Carolina courts the power to hear the case. For now, the court will determine whether the lawsuit can move forward or if it ends before it truly begins. And depending on that decision, this high-profile legal drama could either escalate or quietly disappear.